Okay, so we're back, and I figured out the issue here was very silly mistake. Um, it was basically this recycle, no, this remove add. This count, I was negating it after. I was supposed to negate before. When minus minus comes first, it negates the value first and then passes it. So I wasn't doing that, and that is what was creating the issue. Now that problem is solved, and I got rid of all of the unnecessary extra arrays that we were storing here. Like this is so much short, it's like simpler now. Um, and I have increased the size of the buffer, but technically, at a technical level, this should be working a lot faster because all of these that were being rendered, you see all the zeros there, that those were draw calls. Those draw calls are gone now. So yeah, it was uploading all of this extra data for no reason. So this should just work now. And there you go. Full walls, no begs. 280, 0, 260, 260. Okay, so we can get back to designing these levels. Where were we? 0, 1. So this is a nice introduction. I like this section where you get to kind of have a little skirmish here at the end. This is really nice. Now we can extend this a little bit and do more combination of enemies. Let's take stock of where the rest of the levels are and work backwards from there. I think this level is a little bit more on the difficult side. I want to also like keep introducing mechanics. Let's see if I can do that. I don't want this campaign to be too long anyway. So for the few levels that it spreads across, I want to just have enough mechanics that get explored so that it doesn't feel that it doesn't feel too boring. This could be the next level actually. This is actually a really nice next level. Let's go into the manifest and disconnect this. User can also disconnect this. Boom. Save all changes, reload. Okay, so that's a nice progression. Let's play like played around with that enemy. I'm wondering if this is like too hard. Should we add some like cover? I think we should do that. Like over here. Oh, how to fix that? Like over here, there could be like a wall you can take cover behind. These need to be lights. Flat FL. Flat FL small, flat FL small. I wonder how we can add cover here. If the player was paying attention, what they would do is take out the first enemy as quickly as possible. Yeah, I think it's a bit too much on the difficult side here. Can't expect players to move that fast. See, it's possible, but like I don't know, I'm not training the player for that right now. That would be like three enemies. That's like the end of this campaign, where we like put three of these guys, and you have to kind of actually go ta ta ta. Otherwise you get bamboozled. So over here, instead of that, we can run into that totem. Ooh. Hold up. Did that bullet just go straight through the totem? I thought there was a collider on this. I thought there was a collider on here, man. Seriously? Okay, so the collider is just not big enough, I guess. Hmm. Hello there. See, I forgot to put my camera on. I should always check the video first. No, no camera vibes. It's no one's watching, so it's fine. Stonehenge floor candle. I was watching a story on Instagram today. Indian sim cluster complaining about how like there was a seminar at the Indian Institute of Technology somewhere uh, about like cognitive science and how they were discussing reincarnation and and in the video in the reel in the Instagram reel the guy was like, this is pseudoscience, this is fake, this is not, but it's something to the tune of like, okay, IIT is like mixing pseudoscience with science, and I'm just like, dude, like in that video they were like, okay, reincarnation is like next level, you really have to kind of like go out of your mind to understand those concepts. But if you look at out of body experiences, another thing that was claimed in that video to be pseudoscience, uh, cut to like I was in San Francisco just earlier last year, and it's like people actually having like straight up conversations of like, like jhana states, and like the separate levels that you can be, in what literally manifests as your consciousness leaving your body. It's like there's like bodies of science that talk about, these frameworks, which just like capitalist science doesn't really care about. And I think, like, look through that lens, it makes sense. You just, oh, this is not proven, or this is not, like like who are you looking for proof from? Like, what is Mr. Capitalist Science a person, like, who will be like, no, you will believe this? It's like, I don't think it works like that. Like, even I think even science is just like this massively like fissioned body, right? Where you have like materialistic kind of science on one side, and you have all this other stuff that predominantly feels like is happening in the States. But like when I saw that video, I'm just like, hey, turns out the IITs are catching up as well. They should. So that was interesting. This totem is not doing it. Let's, you know what? Let's just, for now, give this a little bit more of a breathing room, and we'll get the player up to speed in the next level. Yeah, okay, this is a little bit better. 4, 7, 7. So this is the next level after that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Am I loving this level? Let's clean this up first. Flat wall light will go. Flat ceiling lights will go. Let's get some floor lights. Let's go. Instead of just having the player keep going straight, like, I don't want to give them a little bit of an angle here. Okay, this is a little bit better, I think. I have to deflect. Yeah, there is no waypoints here. A little teleport across this gap, very beautiful. Like, for me, it's just mind-blowing, dude. Like, the level of the conversation that's happening in the States. Like, look, I speak English, so like I'm obviously limited to that, body of thought. Um, where was cognitive science when I was growing up, dude? Like, people didn't even know that existed, because I think it actually didn't wasn't mainstream enough. The tired old engineer, doctor, lawyer nonsense that we were put through. The concepts that they discuss in cognitive science is just like, my god, like, it's, for me, actually, for me, it was just like this massive, like, at the level of faith in humanity restored kind of moment that happened to me when I first learned about it. And it's so funny that, like, after I learned about it, uh, I would like meet random people in random places who are like, yeah, I studied cognitive science. And I was just like, is a part of me unaware of the fact that I am seeking this out? you know, this is It's awesome. It is amazing to watch all the thinkers that are in that space. And I know there is like, yeah, there are like different frequency bands at which that's happening. So like you have your, more serious thinkers versus people who are kind of like going. They're not like they're not serious, but they're like stretching it like way further. And I'm all for like all of that. Like I'm like, dude, do whatever. I'm I'm like I this is I just it's not even about like scientific rigor or anything for me anymore. It's more of like a I just want to hear these words because they make me feel good. It's a very somatic kind of uh, back to basics kind of feeling that it triggers in me. Da, da, da. I think we'll pretty this up a little bit. Add some variation to it. Gunner, are you flipped? You are flipped. Bro, are you flipped? Are you flipping? I'm gonna expand all of these like basic corridors that I have here and do a little bit more, give the geometry a little bit of a touch up, you know what I mean? That's what's gonna happen next in my next pass through. Like right now we're getting this structure in where we have a sense of direction in terms of like mechanics and difficulty. After that's done, then I will kind of like standardize the aesthetic of it. And I think in that process we will have some more polish go into it. Like right now I'm putting in floor lights because like I like it right now. I might change that. Oh, okay, this is a good level, man. This is a good level. And run 2. Uh, is this the same? This is the same level. Corporate cannot tell the difference. M run 3. Man, I don't like this level. Like what is going on here? It's the same room entry, 2 enemies. We're gonna nuke this. We're gonna get rid of this. Gotta do something new. And start the player off with a surprise here. Okay. Some tight corners. Let's get some tight corners going. Okay, it's Charger. What are you, sir? Fast sniper. You can get back on the ground. Okay, here's a fast sniper, and we can charge. How about a charger? And then a gunner. Then we can, what is this? 4. M run 3 number 1 on number 2 gunner unknown opcode. Oops. M run 3. I like how this map is compressing. Uh, just had an idea. I know we're going off the plan here, but I just saw a different level, man, and I gotta. Section. Yeah, we will have our fun. We will definitely have our fun with the. Is something broken here? I thought I fixed this already. Sometimes this thing is just not saving, is it? We were where? Emran 3? Emran 3. I think what happens is if I save this level while I'm editing, because it's editing the same file, I think that's why it happens. I'm editing the manifest file, and that's kind of like overriding this file. So I have to be careful that I reload this page after I've saved in the manifest. Otherwise, I will lose changes. Okay, what do we want to do in this next level? Okay, we've done combos. We've done two snipers together. What do we want after this? We want let's look at the other levels before we M4. I don't like both of these levels. This one and this one. This one I like. I think we could reorder these. Which one was this? Emerald 5. Emerald 3, 4, we'll come back to those. Emerald 9. Oh, this was the one we were making yesterday. Let's give this one the writing solution. If only I can get past the first section. I'm not paying attention. Oh, this level is nice. Yeah, this level is going in. Wait. We are going to include this. Fast gunner. This is what I'm confused about. This fast gunner is 200, 500. 150, 750. Fascinating. Emerald 9. That's why I split up those properties, and now it's all the. Yeah, I like this gunner better. He's more. What are these levels? Man, boy's been making levels, you can tell. This is a new mechanic. Yeah, this mechanic will, I think I put these in order because they all exploit this mechanic. Nice. Starting to look like a campaign, bro. These are actually, I think, a little bit easier than the sniper levels. This is a combination. This is nice, dude. Like we could take this detour. We could just do a couple of sniper levels, add this break in the middle with the taunt levels, the turret enemies, and bring it together with like this boss stage at the end. This bad boy will connect to Emron 12. What is this? Oh, this is the OG level. You know what I want to do is like add, like we could have this and then we have trick levels that go out, like go on in like parallel, like outside this main path, where players can explore like new mechanics, or shorter like trick levels. Mm. Oh, 3 HP, huh? Damn. Blocked. I think these could be like 3-shot enemies. Okay, just focus on this for now. Focus. Emron 3 and 4 we're kind of disqualifying right now. We're not. I'm not feeling these levels. Yeah, this level is just. Whoop. This section is just not. No. Need to do something more entertaining here. This is whatever. System disconnected. System why? Why, system why? Because no one's texting me. Is that one? Is that it? 37 minutes. Error connecting to read operation timeout. Something else is up. I wonder if the stream is still alive. I almost feel like there will always be like that schism between the more idealistic and the more materialistic, bodies of knowledge. And I think people will just be like selecting for whichever one, it like whichever one is more like palatable or comfortable for them. Like that's how, like given the things that are gonna come out, especially with this, all of this frontier labs AI stuff that's going on. Like, dude, like the stories that we tell ourselves, they're not, man, they're slated for like a very very like intense upgrade. And if you don't do that upgrade, then you're just like, yeah, then you're just architecting, like enclaves of reality almost. Like you have to kind of like mediate these literal, like it'll be like literal sim clusters, right? There will be different worlds almost, where people just believe different things. It's like this whole idea of like one, like there being like one world out there, right? And we're all a part of it. It's like, is that the case right now? Like, no, it's not. It's not at all, actually. It's like, your information bubble kind of, it's like this control mechanism that people on the ground have, like these networks which are interfacing with, what practically, serves as an alien technology, which is the internet. And those, that information architecture is like creating these. Sim cluster is just the best word for this, but like another way to describe it would be like enclaves of information, right? And inside those inside the boundary of that organism, you have one version of reality, right? That's why what happens is, like, when you bring information from the outside of that organism into it, right? And the example of this, like the most obvious example, is like, political schisms, because they're so charged, right? And you'll see like groups that are completely like turned away from each other. And when information comes from one of these sim clusters into another one, there's like these there's like a complete rejection of that reality altogether, right? Mm. Like you operate under the assumption that, hey, we're all just like humans, we're in this together, right? And we have our differences, okay, and we have to settle those differences, and that would involve, some kind of like at least a sharing of information. Like information should go from one place to another, at least. Like, over on top of that, you develop the idea of like understanding or empathy, or all of those kind of like things that are basically just kept at the level of like Michael Jackson songs or whatever, like Heal the World, or whatever. Like, that's just fantasy, I guess. But in the real world out here, like what the I almost feel like it's the mode of operation. Like, being a human being in a society is like, you have to have like carry around this laundry list of things that you're supposed to hate about the out group, right? And if you're not signaling those, then you're just, you're not humaning anymore. And that's just like, that's why on Twitter I'm a non-human. I'm just like, you know what, you guys hate the out group. Let me show you an out group. hate away, you know. It's just like, yeah, we're not signaling in group truths, right? What does that make you out group? Because that's what it feels. That's why the organism kind of like reacts. Like I've always been, I think, a little bit of a contrarian, not out of out of choice, but just out of habit. Where it's like I don't know much about, like I don't stay informed about politics or anything like that. But like it's something that I wasn't able to avoid, especially when I was growing up. And I would just like notice like how different people had like completely different opinions, and they were like really enthusiastic about them. I was just like, whoa, like, and you're talking to someone and you're just like asking questions. It's like, okay, just tell me what you think. Like, tell me your thinking process, right? At least I can like model what you're thinking. Like, I'm trying to understand where it's coming from or something like that. And and you know you learn as much as you can about another person's position, and then you go to the different sim cluster where it's like they're painting a different reality altogether, right? And if you like are genuinely inquisitive, right, and you're just like, hey, tell me more about your like position, right? What is it that you're like, how are you seeing the world, right? Like, I'll model your reality now. Which is an exercise you can do as well, but that's just, you know, it paints a completely different picture. And if you make the mistake of like bringing information from one sim cluster to the other one, and putting it in a, like, this is on me, like putting it in a way that can come off as making affirmative claims, that's when the contrarianism comes in, and that's when you kind of like just lose the conversation, right? And but that's like, even if I was, you know, like super tactful about it, like even then I just feel like there's this force where like you're talking to someone and you're supposed to kind of like inflate into like, this is what's happening, this is what those people this and that people that, and then that kind of like puts the other person in this like, you know, binary position where like you either accept what they're saying or you retort, or you just kind of like, you know, fizzle away from that kind of like charged situation. But what that does is it kind of like bends the dynamic of the conversation, right? And that's kind of like this way for people to kind of like signal, you know, in group allegiance. But that's something that I noticed so much in the examples that I have in my experience. Like, it's just maybe it's something that I'm doing. I don't know what it is. But people like just like they just jump, man. They just jump into like, here's what's true, and if you don't agree, you are a bad person. And I'm like, dude, that framework itself has kind of like, you know, defeated the purpose of a conversation if one was to be had. Which is also like just my stubbornness. I think it's some artistic trait. Like, people actually care about like having a discussion or a conversation, right? It's it's actually not about that at all. It's like you know, like you're, yeah, I feel like it's actually a limitation of like the human cognitive substrate as a whole. If I was to generalize it, it's like you're not supposed to look at complexity. If you want to be a human, you just don't even acknowledge it exists. Because if you do, then you just like, people think you're weird. It's like, here's one truth in one side of one political debate. It's like, okay, you know, there are like people there, like so many people there who think completely differently about this thing that you're saying so confidently and affirmatively, almost as like it would make Chuck Norris blush, right? But no, no, it's like, no, that's just like, though, that's not the reality. What are you talking about? Those are just the insert label here to identify the out group. That's it. That's where the dehumanization has already happened. And it's like, you know, you'll give probable cause for that. It's like, yeah, but look at this, and then there's like harassment, violence, all of those things that human beings do to each other that is like completely ugly. So you know, you kind of like justify that 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 dehumanization, you know, by like categorizing people into one out group and just kind of like oh, you're all this or you're all that. It's like that mental motion is almost like something society is like patting you on the back for. And I'm just like, that's kind of sus, bro. That's like that's weird, right? That's not that's not that's not I would say that's not sentient behavior. Like the fact that it passes for it is just a testament to our situation. You know, it's like, what did you expect? If in the calm of our living room we can't entertain, we can't empathize with the predicament that we are in, right? If you can't point at it even, it's like, yeah, of course there's going to be all that stuff on the outside. Then it's like, yeah, what did you expect, right? It's like this is why like I kind of just like I've been looking for like frameworks that are on the outside of like the consensus reality is just kind of like tied up in like, here's our in group and here's our out group, and you can just like think from within those cognitive entropy traps. You climb out of that and then you have, oh my god, it's all a conspiracy or whatever. Somewhere in the middle there has to be like an explanation of like what our information architecture is doing, in our current like in the current like technological landscape. And that, the level of division that if you go looking for, you will find it. And then you'll just be like, okay, there's all like, I can't unsee it. Like, this is not some like theoretical mumbo jumbo or some philosophical nonsense. Just like, there is a mode of operation where you just don't think, you just repeat stuff that you're supposed to repeat, right? That signals, position, status, and, oh my God, look at me, I'm on the right side of blah, blah, blah. And that's the algorithm, right? It could be any combination of words, right? And you can go into the morality of whatever every side stands for. Like, that stuff is just happening as a like second order effect of another algorithm that's just like this very basal kind of like, native linguistic thing that the human mind does. It's like this combination of like feelings and emotions with like mixed with narrative that puts brains in states that line up to, some proto religions, right? Like, that's where's like what like that's happening, man. Like, that's happening. And then you have organisms, right, that can identify that this is happening. And once you have that, then you can exploit it. Mimetics is pseudoscience, I guess. Pseudo. Pseudo as in root access. That's It's root access science. It's like getting in here, right? Right here. You don't want that science to not be pseudo. It'll be the other pseudo without the P. And then we'll all be peeing our pants. Oh yes, I was designing a level. Where were we with this? Man, this is just like, this is a really boring level, isn't it? Another blocky room with a enemy in front and the biz. We can get rid of this here. Bam. Let's put the player in a little bit of a tight corner, shall we? Something tells me this might break. Let me see if I can actually take out these enemies. Hide. And you can tier 1. Apply. Save mrun 4. Pow, pow. Easy, more difficult. This one is more difficult, I think. It combines both of them. No, this is gonna have to be at the end, I think. Now that looks like a campaign. I think we'll just discard these. Not really feeling them. I'll get a water break. I'll be right back. And we are BACC. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do here. This, and this. We're gonna have them be like offshoots. Like they're going to be like collectible levels inside the stage. We're gonna hide them. Because I don't think they belong in they don't belong in the progression. They could, but having hidden levels is just that much of a bonus, I guess. So we're gonna go that way instead. Exactly. That's what we're gonna do. Height 6. No, that won't work. 6 is too high up. That is a big level. I mean, a big section. Too late to break it apart now, I think. How do I break this apart? Okay, let's see if we can do it. Save, duplicate. I'll remove all of this from here. Remove this and clean out this section. I had a pretty fancy routine here that did rotate clockwise. God bless, this works. Man, it actually does. Beautiful. The props didn't rotate properly though. Not a big problem. It is injecting rotation values on stuff that I didn't need to rotate, but that's okay. Whoops. Wasn't expecting the jump pad over there. Okay. All right. Reload. Where could this fit in? Before this, because this is pretty difficult. 486 and run, delete, save all changes, reload everyone, thank you, and run. Let's make this a little bit pretty. Yes, there you go. Save all changes, reload. Now, isn't that looking like a campaign? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Man, those 2 extra levels. Need that in life. How are we doing? Hour 10. Oh, massaging my vagus nerve through my eyeballs. Ah. Hmm. I'm getting visions of the level editor. No, I want to keep it short, man. Keep it short. Uh, Rather than kind of like cramping too much stuff into one like category. Like I'm thinking about like, I want to play around more with jump pads and teleporters and everything like this. I think we can make a new category for that. Doesn't need to all be in one place. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. We'll get to it. Okay, I wanna go for a walk. I need some fresh air. And you know what? Maybe a drink. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. Thank you all for dropping by. Accelerate mode day after, officially day after, but tomorrow you can access it. Okay, infinite bliss.